Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Why can't I just eat my waffle? The future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. If the people cannot trust their government to do the job for which it exists, to protect them and to promote their common welfare, all else is lost. If you're walking down the right path and you're willing to keep walking, eventually you'll make progress. Money is not the only answer, but it makes a difference. My fellow Americans, we are and always will be a nation of immigrants. We were strangers once, too. We proved that we are still a people capable of doing big things and tackling our biggest challenges. I'm a warrior for the middle class. In the end, that's what this election is about. Do we participate in a politics of cynicism or a politics of hope? The thing about hip-hop today is it's smart, it's insightful. The way they can communicate a complex message in a very short space is remarkable. What Washington needs is adult supervision. We need to internalize this idea of excellence. Not many folks spend a lot of time trying to be excellent. That's the good thing about being president, I can do whatever I want. I think when you spread the wealth around it's good for everybody. I miss being anonymous. I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money. I think same-sex couples should be able to get married. In a world of complex threats, our security and leadership depends on all elements of our power, including strong and principled diplomacy. I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and I can use that pen to sign executive orders and take executive actions and administrative actions that move the ball forward. It's not surprising, then, they get bitter. They cling to guns or religion or antipathy to people who aren't like them or anti-immigrant sentiment or anti-trade sentiment as a way to explain their frustrations. We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to where we are today, but we have just begun. Today we begin in earnest the work of making sure that the world we leave our children is just a little bit better than the one we inhabit today. There is not a liberal America and a conservative America, there is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America, there's the United States of America. The United States is not, and never will be, at war with Islam. Issues are never simple. One thing I'm proud of is that very rarely will you hear me simplify the issues. A good compromise, a good piece of legislation, is like a good sentence, or a good piece of music. Everybody can recognize it. They say, huh. It works. It makes sense. We want everybody to act like adults, quit playing games, realize that it's not just my way or the highway. This is the moment when we must come together to save this planet. Let us resolve that we will not leave our children a world where the oceans rise and famine spreads and terrible storms devastate our lands. I'm going to try to unite all Americans. It's not enough to train today's workforce. We also have to prepare tomorrow's workforce by guaranteeing every child access to a world-class education. We all knew this. We all knew that it would take more time than any of us want to dig ourselves out of this hole created by this economic crisis. No one is pro-abortion. I don't oppose all wars. What I am opposed to is a dumb war. What I am opposed to is a rash war. We have real enemies in the world. These enemies must be found. They must be pursued and they must be defeated. I'm the President of the United States. I'm not the Emperor of the United States. We have an obligation and a responsibility to be investing in our students and our schools. We must make sure that people who have the grades, the desire and the will, but not the money, can still get the best education possible. Let us remember we are all part of one American family. We are united in common values, and that includes belief in equality under the law, basic respect for public order, and the right of peaceful protest. We need to steer clear of this poverty of ambition, where people want to drive fancy cars and wear nice clothes and live in nice apartments but don't want to work hard to accomplish these things. Everyone should try to realize their full potential. You know, my faith is one that admits some doubt. With the changing economy, no one has lifetime employment. But community colleges provide lifetime employability. I just want to go through Central Park and watch folks passing by. Spend the whole day watching people. I miss that. We worship an awesome God in the blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around our libraries in the red states. We coach Little League in the blue states and have gay friends in the red states. Food stamp recipients didn't cause the financial crisis, recklessness on Wall Street did. I believe in American exceptionalism, just as I suspect that the Brits believe in British exceptionalism and the Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism. To avoid being mistaken for a sellout, I chose my friends carefully. The more politically active black students. The foreign students. The Chicanos. The Marxist professors and structural feminists and punk rock performance poets. The fact that my 15 minutes of fame has extended a little longer than 15 minutes is somewhat surprising to me and completely baffling to my wife. My job is not to represent Washington to you, but to represent you to Washington. We need to keep making our streets safer and our criminal justice system fairer, our homeland more secure, our world more peaceful and sustainable for the next generation. I cannot swallow whole the view of Lincoln as the great emancipator. The Middle East is obviously an issue that has plagued the region for centuries. John Kerry believes in an America where hard work is rewarded. Americans still believe in an America where anything's possible, they just don't think their leaders do. It was not a religion that attacked us that September day. It was Al-Qaeda. We will not sacrifice the liberties we cherish or hunker down behind walls of suspicion and mistrust. I found this national debt, doubled, wrapped in a big bow waiting for me as I stepped into the Oval Office. What I worry about would be that you essentially have two chambers, the House and the Senate, but you have simply, majoritarian, absolute power on either side. And that's just not what the founders intended. I'm a Christian by choice. I don't think marriage is a civil right, but I think that being able to transfer property is a civil right. As a nuclear power, as the only nuclear power to have used a nuclear weapon, the United States has a moral responsibility to act. You know, one of the things I think you understand as president is you're held responsible for everything, but you don't always have control of everything, right? I've been fighting with Acorn, alongside Acorn, on issues you care about, my entire career. Over the last 15 months, we've traveled to every corner of the United States. I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. We all remember Abraham Lincoln as the leader who saved our Union. Founder of the Republican Party. If the critics are right that I've made all my decisions based on polls, then I must not be very good at reading them. Even when folks are hitting you over the head, you can't stop marching. Even when they're turning the hoses on you, you can't stop. We will keep the promise of social security by taking the responsible steps to strengthen it, not by turning it over to Wall Street. But do I think that our actions in any way violate the War Powers Resolution? The answer is no.